Hey, 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 hey. What's up? A gracious good morning to you good people. It's your girl KB. You know what I do and you know why I do it. It is Wednesday morning. It's December 3rd and it is 2:52 in the a.m. I'm just going to dive into what I was thinking about over the weekend, and I kind of held on to it. I was going to talk about it yesterday, and then I had the comedy of errors, and now I'm here this morning because it won't let me go. Um, it's a sad statement. It's a sad commentary on who we are as people. And I'm including everyone, although the person that mentioned it is part of the LGBTQ community. And for those of you who don't know that term, it's the LGBTQ community. It's QIA, the alphabet community. But I'd like to say LGBTQ. Anywho, they asked someone to help them distinguish between platonic and romantic relationships when that switch is tripped, if you will. And I thought, how sad. You know, this individual said, I know the literal definitions, but they had problems navigating, I want to say that I hate this word, minutia of it, and when does it blossom? And again, I'm thinking, how sad that somebody has to tell you that. Relationships work by way of the platonic relationship. That is the building block of the romantic relationship. That is like, the chromosome or the DNA for relationships. It is important that you be friends. And if you have feelings that develop out of that friendship, cool. But if you don't, you have a solid friend. And if you're developing feelings during the friendship, you need to put that out there. That's what I'm saying. Because you don't want to mess up that friendship. Now, in the platonic state or stage, you can have that conversation because you don't, like I said, you don't want to taint that friendship. If the person is not feeling the same, then you can have that conversation and understand why and maintain that friendship. If you don't speak on it, you're going to act on it. And that is what messes up the connections. Because you're going to get jealous, or they're going out with somebody, or you're going to be hostile toward that somebody and start moving funny in the friendship. Have those conversations. Know the difference. Set a boundary and maintain a boundary. Another thing that happens is, out of loneliness, people hook up and then realize, nah, this was bad. And then out of embarrassment and, just, again, that awkwardness in the friendship, you tear the whole thing down. You become passing acquaintances And then you no longer have that connection in those conversations to clarify. You know, for you young folks, I urge you to develop discernment. You know, listen to some older folks. Notice I said some, because a lot of folks because of I want to say repression, are still operating in that 20-something club mindset mentality, that I can go out every night. And I say because of repression, because, society has not been as open. I'm not saying it's wide open now, but it has not been as open and receptive to celebrating diversity, celebrating same gender loving folks as normal. That irritates me to no end. And I'm going to piggyback something else on this, because we like to get what we call Judeo-Christian values in the mix. And I want to say, there's not a whole lot Christian about some of our behaviors. Now, I watched this lady yesterday. I watched a video. This lady did, I want to say, about an 8 or 9 minute video discussing urban contemporary gospel singer Yolanda Adams' dress. And she was trying not to be judgmental, but all it was judgment based on the way this woman was dressed. And the woman had on a nice evening gown that was colorful. But this sister had a judgment for her, talking about I rocked with her for years. And then she was also discussing the other folks who had a deeper judgment. Basically the woman said notice I said we are, including myself, we're confusing worldly values with Christian values. No, we're living life and trying to make sense of the dogma that has been given to us over the generations, from folks who, how do I put this, have not studied the Word. They've read the Word. Yes, they've read the Word, but they don't know the historical context. They don't know what the messages apply to. And you also have to remember that only certain books have been canonized for the Protestant Bible. And you have to ask yourself why. If you know there are other books, why the selection of what we have in our Protestant Bible? Think about that.